Welcome back to MK Sportscars, and as you can see from the nice vibrant orange colour, me and Joe are sat inside a brand new Cup 200 factory build, which is up for sale for one of you lucky people at home to take home and enjoy some track days and some classic B-road driving in a Suzuki Hayabusa powered race car, which is of course road legal, otherwise we would not be on the road right now. Let's go! And as seen by Joe putting it through the gears there, this is drive-by-wire on Gen 3 throttle bodies and does have a flat shifter up and down. So whilst you're driving, you haven't got to worry about touching that clutch pedal at all. You just go straight through the gearbox. You haven't got to worry about wasting time putting the clutch down, coming off the accelerator, etc. So on a standard block Hayabusa, this is full bells and whistles. As mentioned, it has the flat shifter up and down. You've got the AIM dashboard in the middle, the AIM Strada. This car's run on the Life Racing ECU, as are all the Cup 200 race cars. So race proven solution. These have been running in the race series for a little while now, so they definitely aren't going to be tested on the road, let's just say that, with some of our racing drivers really putting them through the paces out on track. On roads like what we're on now, you really can't test the capabilities, but they are still definitely a lot of fun. Which I'm sat inside, or just in general about the Cup 200 model if you've never heard of MK Sportscars before. So the Cup 200 model, as previously mentioned, houses the Suzuki Hayabusa engine, Gen 2 primarily, with a 6-speed sequential gearbox within the engine itself. Obviously you can see from the gear selector in the middle here, sequential box forward and back, with the flat shifter on this specific model as well. Now that is an optional extra, running it on the drive-by-wire. You can run it on cable actuated throttle and just go straight through the sequential box as you would on the bike using the clutch. But obviously for the extra speed on track and to negate having to press the clutch pedal down whilst you're driving, obviously you add a little bit of speed on the acceleration side of things. So the Cup 200 chassis is completely our own design of chassis, as are the wishbones set up at the front and on the rear. AA on wishbones with our own billet uprights. This specific car's got the 2.4 quick rack on the front there, makes it nice and nimble for going into corners. You haven't got to turn the wheel all too much to change the direction of the car. The last thing you want is having to turn the wheel 3 turns lock to lock. For any one of you at home which does not know what the number stands for, it is 2.4 turns lock to lock. Gets a little bit of attention. So the suspension setup on this car is independent suspension on the front and independent suspension on the rear. Now this differs from a lot of different Lotus 7 shaped cars which familiarly run outboard suspension on the front, and a lot of people ask what the differences are obviously with running inboard suspension on the front. And it's all well and good me sitting here talking through the specifics of what it's like to drive one of these cars. Obviously me being in the passenger seat, I haven't got all the information to tell you. However, what I can tell you is to go over to our website, book a factory visit and come down and drive one of our cars. If you've ever driven a Lotus 7 shaped car before with outboard suspension, you go out in our RX-5 140 demonstrator car, you'll instantly know the difference in compliance on the road, how it feels like to drive, and how well it compensates over the bumps as well. And that's not even delving into the depths of what it is like out on track. And if you want to see what the Cup 200 and Cup 400, which is the supercharged variant of this car, are like out over on the track, we have plenty of videos up on our YouTube channel of the Cup 200 race series with the onboard footage from a few of our racing drivers. Richard Webb, who seems to win the race series 9 times out of 10 when he does enter it, so he's a good person to go and watch, as a lot of you guys at home that haven't got all too much racing experience at the end of the day, it's quite literally going to be your experience and skill limiting you in this car. You're not going to have a limiting factor from the car you're driving, and Rich does prove that quite well. Some of the times that he's pulling out over on some of the tracks are absolutely unreal, and it does just show what this car is capable of. So the bodywork on this car, obviously being a cup car, you don't have to have it, but it does have the cup nose cone, which does look absolutely amazing. I mean, since it's been released, there's rarely ever been a car which has not had the cup nose cone on it, because it just does look great. So all of the bodywork is GRP fiberglass. This is not painted bodywork. Obviously, for the likes of going on track, you don't really want to have painted bodywork for any stones that flick up, and just the idea of spending a load on painted bodywork to have it damaged by stones or if you come off the track, etc. The fiberglass tends to put up with a little bit more bashing and beating than what painted bodywork would. And of course, being that this car is road legal, it does have two forms of immobilisation. One of these forms of immobilisation is the fact that it has an immobiliser on the key, so without the immobiliser you won't be able to get full fuel pump prime, and you won't be able to start the car. And your second form of immobilisation is your red key over on the dash, obviously being a key. If you don't have the key, you can't start the car. So there are your two forms of immobilisation, and that is what you need to get this car through the IVA. So onto the performance side of things, this car does have a 206 brake horsepower engine from RLM Racing, same spec as what the Cup 200 race cars would have. And obviously with your lightweight car, a decent bit of power, you need to know what brakes are on this car. So we're running the Willwood Powerline brakes on the front, and we've got Sierra rear brakes on this car, which is more than enough to stop it in its tracks when you're going around a track and doing some high speeds. They're definitely not going to be tested all too much on the road, let's put it that way. For anyone that takes out some passengers that likes holding on to the old handle, you've got a roll cage.
One eternity later.
Come on now. Oh no, I'm late to work. The fact that this could actually be your commute car in the summer to work and back is ridiculous. Driving to work in a Suzuki Hayabusa powered sports car, race car, whatever you want to call it. I just think being able to bang it through a sequential bike engine gearbox on the way to Tesco's to go and pick up your lunch is a strange concept. Right, well that marks just about it for this rendition of the Cup 200 test drive. Now this car is down at our factory in Braintree, Essex, so if you're interested in this car, want to come out for a passenger ride or potentially take it home with you, then book a factory visit over on our website and you can come and do so.